really thankful to Amita for giving a talk on immunity, and she has a background in Ayurveda. She has been practicing Ayurveda for more than 20 years. She also has a system engineering background, and she has certification in yoga and also hypnotherapy. So she has excellent background for alternate medicine, and it is very nice that she has opened up a facility close from us in Rockville, and so that is something that at a reasonable cost, you have all the facilities available here, and she will talk about it. And also, if people are interested, sometime we can all go and visit, at least the people that are local to Washington DC area can visit and get benefit and learn from her what facilities she provides and what services. And so all that is there. So with all that introduction, thank you, Amita, very much. Go ahead, Amita.
Namaste again to all of you. I'm delighted to be giving this presentation on behalf of Shri and Shri Yoga. It's wonderful to know that there is a yoga teacher in our community who places importance in holistic health, well-being, and Ayurveda. And I hope that all of us will follow in his lead to make yoga and health a priority in our life, because it is certainly the time to give attention to our mental and our physical health. Yoga is perhaps the most critical need of our society today. I'm sure all of you benefit tremendously with the community service given by Shriji and Shri Yoga. So I'm going to share my screen now with all of you. Okay, is that visible slide?
Yes.
Visible, okay.
So I'm going to turn the videos off.
Okay, so Ayurveda, as you all know, is India's ancient medical system, and it dates back over 4,000 years old, and it is still very widely practiced today. Ayurveda uses natural treatments to cure disease of all kinds, and its timeless practice is especially notable for its ability to strengthen the immune system. It will also guide us towards increasing well-being and vitality, and it teaches that maintaining balance and equilibrium in life is the key to health and longevity. So 4 years ago, I opened an Ayurvedic healing center as a nonprofit to help people manage chronic illness using a natural and holistic approach. This center, as Shriji said, is now located in Rockville Town Center. And primarily what we do is we work with chronic and complicated illness where Western medicine has not been effective. And I work there with my colleague and partner in Seva, Om Prakash Ji. He's here in the audience. So I hope that he gets a chance to also speak to you as well on various different topics of Ayurveda. So Omji takes a section of our a certain type of patient that we see, especially for metabolic and lifestyle diseases. And I generally work with complicated illnesses where, as I mentioned, where Western medicine hasn't been effective, or also where people have just lost all hope. They think that, okay, these are my symptoms, I'm going to have to bear the rest of my life through this suffering. But we have found Ayurveda to be incredibly impactful, and that's why we are doing what we do today. So with only about an hour for this presentation, I had to think, what are the most critical and important factors that contribute to our health, and what brings us down and what crushes our immunity and vitality? Well, we all know about the main health factors that we need to consider, such as healthy diet and daily exercise, getting enough sleep, stress management. So I'm not going to talk about those broad subjects. Instead, I've come up with 3 topics to present that will bring your attention to things that can significantly impact your health and vitality and easy ways to incorporate them. My purpose today is that you leave this seminar with motivation to make a few simple changes for healthier and happier life and for increased immunity. There's a word in the Ayurvedic dictionary called Ojas, which translates closely to vitality or immunity. This Ojas can be measured in an individual using Ayurvedic examination techniques, for example, like the pulse reading, Nadi Pariksha. Ayurveda states that when we have sufficient Ojas, we have excellent ability to fight disease and maintain good health as we age. But when this Ojas decreases through improper lifestyle habits, we become susceptible to disease. So here I'd like to present that which will help you increase Ojas. These are things that are impacting us all right now. And especially given this pandemic, we need to make our health a priority. 2 important factors that contribute to Ojas are 1, our food intake, and 2, our mindset. So let me talk a little bit more about these. Food today is nothing like what it was in ancient times. Unadulterated, pure, naturally organic, and grown and sold according to the seasons. But today we have environmental pollutants, depleted soils, use of pesticides and herbicides, and modern day farming techniques. So food and soil has become nutrient weak compared to the needs of the human physiology, leaving us deficient in certain vitamins and minerals. And as a society, we have become more vulnerable to chronic disease. So I'm going to start by showing you some astonishing statistics. 6 in 10 Americans have a chronic disease today. So these are statistics by the CDC. 60% of all Americans today have at least one chronic disease. 4 in 10 have multiple chronic conditions. That means that we have a 60% chance of developing at least one disease, and we also have a good chance of developing a number of diseases, because as we all know, when you have one chronic disease, it will soon follow with others. And here are some numbers corresponding to lifestyle diseases of today. And this is again a chart produced by the CDC. You can see hypertension, 32% of adults suffering from high blood pressure, 10% of us with suffering from diabetes. And if you include pre-diabetes, that number will shoot up quite a bit. 16% with high cholesterol, 23% arthritis, and the majority of us overweight or obese. And you can see here on this chart how the numbers are trending upwards. Every 5 years, there's more and more millions of Americans, while population is generally remaining the same, millions more are suffering from these various diseases. And if you're over the age of 65, these numbers are even more startling. You have an 80% chance of having at least one chronic condition and 68% chance of having 2 or more chronic conditions. Your likelihood of not having high blood pressure by the time you're 65 is only 42%. Basically, you're more likely than not to become sick. Take a look at some of these numbers posted here if you are an adult over the age of 65. It's hard to swallow these numbers, but these are the facts from the world today. Now, Ayurveda looks first to eliminate the root cause of any condition. So how do we prevent these seemingly oncoming diseases? How do we prevent them? Is to first eliminate the root cause. What is nidana? It is the root cause, and we need to eliminate that. For example, if you can't sleep because the room is too hot, well, you need to get a fan. So it seems like it's common sense, but a number of people are trying to take supplements to boost their immune system or taking other preventative methods, but they're not first trying to correct their existing problems. So here, what I'm talking about specifically are deficiencies in our nutrients, in our vitamins and minerals, that oftentimes these deficiencies are the root cause of a disease, and you can prevent from having to take lifelong drugs by addressing these deficiencies. So let's take a look now to see as a population just how deficient we are, and especially being in an affluent country. Take a look at this chart. It's important to note that the RDAs were not established to support or encourage optimal health, but as the amount of nutrients necessary to prevent an entire population from being deficient, not for an individual. So these numbers are actually quite conservative. But just take a look here that 34, a third of our population is deficient in iron. 48%, nearly half of our population is deficient in vitamin C. 2/3 of our population deficient in calcium. And look at the number for vitamin E. 86% of us deficient in vitamin E, and vitamin E is very, very important for maintaining healthy immunity because it plays a role in producing those immune cells. But this is what I see most common in my practice these days, that people suffering from poor health, if they come to me with a certain case of a chronic condition, I generally first look at the possibility of a deficiency. Sometimes these are shown in blood lab reports, sometimes they are not. Sometimes I can pick them up during my own exam or pulse reading. Sometimes I may request them to get specific tests done. And most commonly, this is what I see in people with chronic disease, deficiency in B12, iron, especially in women, vitamin D deficiency, zinc, iodine deficiency, calcium, magnesium, and vitamin E. So as I mentioned, I have selected 3 things in this presentation to discuss with you. One is going to be a supplement. One will be a change in diet, and one for mindset. So if I had to pick just one supplement, because I only have an hour, otherwise I could talk on the health benefits of many of these, but if I had to pick just one, I chose to talk about this specific deficiency because I find that it is becoming rampant. It is a major contributor to chronic disease, and today, given the pandemic, it is very much needed. And that is vitamin D. I am sure that many of you are saying, oh yeah, it has shown up at low in my lab report at some time. So, and maybe you didn't give much thought, or you got a prescription and you take it sometimes. But I want to actually tell you and explain what happens with a vitamin D deficiency. What are the symptoms? Vitamin D is actually a hormone, not really a vitamin. It enhances our innate defenses against bacterial, viral, and yeast infections. For example, antibacterial peptides are produced in the lungs with vitamin D to protect us against respiratory infections. Vitamin D is also required for downregulation of immune responses, meaning that it decreases inflammation in an immune response by promoting the development of T cells. It regulates the health of our skin, our bones, our strength, our immunity, and it is not only a nationwide deficiency, it is a worldwide one. So the statistics, according to CDC, say that 42% of Americans are deficient, but I believe this number is much, much higher. And the reason is the lab range of a normal level for vitamin D says that if you have 30 30 nanograms per milliliter or higher, you are within normal. But actually, for this hormone to be sufficient for your body's physiological needs, you need at least 60 nanograms per milliliter, 60 or higher, to have adequate levels of D. Now, be cautious, I want to say, because most annual physical exams are no longer covering vitamin D serum test. So you could be deficient and not even know it. You have to request your physician to make sure they include this test in your annual physical. Nearly every part of our body relies on vitamin D levels. So in olden times, we used to spend time outdoors. I used to walk to school, which was almost a mile away, and I would return from school, and then I would play outside with the kids in my neighborhood until it was dark. My parents spent time outside. They used to mow the lawns and they would water their plants regularly. They used to fix their own cars and wash their own cars outside. But now it's a rare day when we see kids playing outside. I think only during the internet outage, the kids go out and play. But you can see here on this chart how nearly every part of the body relies on this hormone. Vitamin D deficiency has also been strongly linked to the severity of coronavirus. These studies have been done not in the US, but in overseas, in Asia, where they were able to link 90% of the severity, severe cases of COVID were linked to very low levels of vitamin D. And the opposite was true, that those who got through the virus with little to no symptoms had healthy levels of D. Now the question is, how do I know if I have a deficiency? Well, most often, as I said, it goes unnoticed. I had a case a year ago of a young Indian lady. Her parents brought her in. She was 19 years old. She was a college student at University of Maryland. She had graduated at the top of her high school. She was very brilliant. She was an athlete. And somehow something changed in her second year at college. She became very depressed. She lost her enthusiasm. She lost motivation. She wasn't able to attend all of her classes. Her grades were not coming out right. And she had no reason to give to her parents other than possibly depression. So her parents took her to psychiatrists. And of course, the usual response is, well, you need to take these drugs. And we know all the side effects are pretty quite severe with antidepressant medications. So her parents were concerned, and they didn't want this young girl to be on antidepressants. So they brought her to me to see me at my clinic. And after doing the exam and my clinical observations and questioning her, I saw one thing: her vitamin D levels were at 8. And I told her, I said, for the next 1 month, all I'm going to give you is this supplement of D and a special diet. I'm not even going to start you on any Ayurvedic medicines, just for 30 days. And you won't imagine the results. She was out of her depression at that point. Now, it took me another 2 months to raise her D levels back to normal and get her back into class. But within 3 months, she was doing much, much better. So we often ignore our symptoms, okay? Or we might quickly take a drug to relieve the discomfort. But if you notice if you see here, dry skin, digestive problems, even high blood pressure, mood swings, fatigue, joint pain, oftentimes, if your D levels are low, we can do something about it. Let's do a quick test right now to see if you might have a vitamin D deficiency. What I'd like you to do is take your thumb and find the very bottom of your sternum, okay? And then when you find the bottom, I want you to move up about 2 inches, and you will come to the center of your sternum. It's a soft spot there, soft cartilage, and press that firmly with your thumb and feel if you have some mild discomfort. Vitamin D, as I mentioned, is very important for our bones. And because we have a tender area here, we can sometimes discover that through an exam. So physicians, as I mentioned, may not order a lab test, number one. Okay, number two, if they do order it, remember that the lab ranges are not exactly accurate. You need to have that 50 to 60 or above. The daily recommended dose for RDA is dangerously low. And I think this is one of the reasons why so many of us are deficient, because we have a multivitamin and it says on there that we are getting 100% of our vitamin D, but that 600 IU dose or RDA stated by the Mayo Clinic, if you stay on that dose, you will for surely have a deficiency and suffer symptoms. Vitamin D, and I'll get to the correct dosage. Vitamin D is difficult to absorb, especially for us of Indian descent, because we have already tan skin. Even if you do spend time in the sun, the young lady that I was talking about, she was a cross-country runner, and still her vitamin D level was so low. So even if we are spending time outdoors, we may still not be getting enough vitamin D. It's also difficult to get D through our foods. So if you are fair-skinned, you can spend 15 minutes in the sun out day in the day and get your daily dose. But if you're darker skinned, you would need 1 hour of direct exposure to your skin to get enough. And wearing sunscreen inhibits vitamin D absorption. So the correct dose, if you have proper levels of D, meaning you have 50 to 60 nanograms per milliliter or more, 5,000 IU is a maintenance dose, okay, of cholecalciferol. This is vitamin D3. And if you are deficient, you should take 10,000 IU daily until you get the numbers up, and then you can switch over to the maintenance dose. I also highly recommend that you take your supplement with some fat, like with a meal that has fat in it, or you can put a drop of ghee or coconut oil on a spoon and take it along with the supplement. Children need 1,000 to 2,000 IU. The recommended daily amount for kids is 400 IU, and children today are not getting enough time in the sun. So if they are lightweight, you give them 1,000, and if they have a good healthy weight, or if they're age 13 and above, you give them 2,000 IU a day. So that is the my tip for most important immune building Ojas enhancing supplement. Now let's go to the next section. If I had to pick just one diet change for your immune health. Are you on drugs? Any kind of drugs? Think again. This powdery substance has no vitamins, no minerals, no enzymes, no protein. It looks like a drug. It acts like a drug. Sugar is a drug. Nowadays, during the pandemic, we are hearing that the immunosuppressed should be getting booster shots, should be taking extra precautions. Well, who exactly is immunosuppressed? Sugar suppresses immunity. This is another startling statistic. A single teaspoon of sugar can suppress white blood cell activity for 4 to 5 hours by 40%. 1 teaspoon of sugar, I'm going to repeat, can suppress your immunity for 4 to 5 hours by 40%. How do we avoid it? Well, added sugar is hiding in 74% of packaged foods. It's very difficult to avoid if you're not consciously trying to read the label of everything that you're buying. Then most likely It has refined sugar in it. Bread, yogurt, pasta sauce, yes, even orange juice, granola bars that we think are healthy, applesauce for our children, even mixed fruit, the instant oatmeal, salad dressing, the list goes on and on. Forget about Twinkies and donuts. All of us are health conscious. If you're attending this seminar, you are practicing yoga with Sri Yoga, you already are health conscious. What I'm talking about are the hidden sugars in our diet. Americans, and we are living in this country, we're having American produce, we're going to the American grocery stores. 66 pounds of added sugar is what we consume. This is not a society or a population. This is an individual. We as individuals are consuming 66 pounds of added sugar, not talking about natural sugars found in fruits, every year. The average American eats 120 grams of sugar a day. So look at the trends of sugar consumption increasing over the years. Do you think that there might be a correlation between our sugar intake and the rise in chronic disease? I often see results in my clients just by asking them to remove sugar from their diets. Another case example I want you to give, just 3 months back, a lady came, an American lady, she came to my clinic with a cane, and with the help of her husband, she was very obese. She had come to me because she was in a great deal of pain. She was not able to walk. She was not able to stand for more than 5 minutes at a time because she had so much pain in her legs and all over her body. She was on a long list of medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, pain-killing drugs. And I thought to myself, what can I do? How can I treat this woman? I can't give her exercises or yoga to do. I can't give her herbal and Ayurvedic medicines because she was on so many prescription drugs. She couldn't come for Panchakarma therapies because it was very difficult for her to even travel. So I thought to myself, and I said, okay, her name was Virginia. I said, Virginia, I'm going to ask you to just do 3 things. Number 1 is remove sugar and refined foods from your diet. And number 2, avoid your negative thoughts that keep coming back up, that I'm in pain, I'm sick, I'm never going to heal. Avoid negative thoughts. And number 3, have full faith in your body's ability to heal. So the only change I made in her routine was simply to remove sugar and refined foods from your diet. That was it. She had lost all hope. So if I had given her a diet of take these vegetables and these fruits, she would have given up because she was so hopeless. And our goal was that she would be able to walk to her mailbox and back because she was not able to stand. So we said, okay, to measure your success, you simply need to get the mail and be able to walk back without assistance. So 2 weeks ago, I had a follow-up with her. So again, just to give you some more information here, her age, her pain was mainly in her legs. Again, very overweight. And this was her follow-up results. So 2 weeks ago, she came and she told me that she had seen an 80% improvement in her primary symptoms. She was able to walk to the mailbox for the first time in years. She was smiling from ear to ear. And not only was her pain reduced, her insulin dose was down by 50%. Her cravings had come down. She lost 30 pounds. And she said that she had her first day where she awoke being completely pain-free. So this this tells you the power that sugar has over the damage and inflammation in your body. And by simply removing it and removing the refined sugars that also act in the same way that white sugar does in your body, you can see the kind of changes and healing that can take place. So recall that 1 teaspoon of sugar suppresses your immune system by 40% for up to 4 hours, okay? And 75% of your food likely contains sugar. Then we have more sugar than we need constantly in our blood. Thereby, it creates a constant state of immune suppression. So if you are not a conscious eater, meaning that you are making deliberate moves to avoid sugar, then you are, in a sense, immunosuppressed. So your goal should be get as close to 0%. So when it comes to sugar consumption, it can be very confusing, because the RDA for sugar says 25 grams a day for women, or 6 teaspoons of sugar, and 38 grams for men, 9 teaspoons. But this should be for natural sugars that are derived from complex carbohydrates like whole grains and fruits in a form that is well metabolized and used by the body as glucose to perform a number of important functions. This does not mean that all sugar is the same, but the RDA doesn't make any distinction of that. So it becomes very misleading. As I talk to my patients in the clinic, they will say, well, I'm taking 25 grams. And so having 3 teaspoons in my, or having 1 teaspoon in my chai that I drink 3 times a day is completely permissible. But we need to get those sugars from complex carbohydrates. For refined sugar, our goal should be to get as close to 0% consumption in our foods. With that being said, eat fruits in abundance. Now that I have talked about diet and diet change and supplement, if I had to pick one change above anything else, if you had come to me and said, listen, Amita, I'm going to make only one lifestyle change, whether it's diet or Ayurvedic herb or whatever you give me, yoga, you just give me one thing and that's what I'm going to do. Then this is what I would pick. Our emotions are the blueprint of our bodies. They can make us healthy or sick almost instantly. When was the last time you thought about a recent experience that made you extremely upset? Did you observe what happened in your body? What about an event that made you so angry at the time? What would happen to you now if you relived that event? We would certainly observe a chemical and physiological response in our body, similar to if that event were actually taking place at this moment. That's why we suppress so many of our past negative emotions, because they affect us in the moment. Research has now proven that our negative thoughts leading to negative emotions create stress chemicals that live in our body and in time create disease. I want to share a most amazing study done by a group of scientists in Finland and 700 participants. When a team of scientists asked people to map out where they felt different emotions in their bodies, they found the results were surprisingly consistent, even across cultures. The colors here depict various activity and sensations. Red means stronger, blue means weaker, black means no sensation. People reported that happiness and love sparked activity across nearly the entire body, while depression had the opposite effect. It dampened feelings in the arms, legs, and head, making them weak. Think about when you get angry, you feel blood pumping through your arms. And when you're sad or you're feeling blue, we often feel a lack of strength in the body. Now remember the last time you were ecstatic, full of joy and happiness. I remember when 4 years ago, I got the news that my brother and sister-in-law were having twins after struggling for 8 years with adoption agencies. or 2 years ago when my dad walked out of the hospital after a successful kidney transplant. I recall these times of joy making my whole body feel light and open, and that happiness carried inside me for days and days and days. But nowadays, what we need to do is try to make a deliberate effort to be in a state of happiness. Even if you are not, tell yourself, fake it and make it. Let's take a look at this a little more closely. Take a moment to feel the emotions within your body right now. What emotion is living with you today? Is there depression behind your smile? Is there anxiety when you get to your job or when you reach home? Some of us are living in constant fear. Fear of the virus, fear of the vaccine, fears about our own self, like who we are and where we are going. You can see here how these emotions stay alive within yourself. The constant activity in your cardiovascular and digestive system is eventually going to result in diseases like high blood pressure or insomnia or ulcers or something else. The interesting part of this study is the comparison between being neutral and being in a state of love or happiness. Recall that previous chart that neutral is just black, meaning it has no activity. This means that simply by not harboring negative emotions, you're not doing anything to improve your vitality. You need to feel positive emotions for that to happen. Think about the happiest person you know. Don't they appear to always glow? Don't you feel like being in their company? In a state of happiness, we encourage healthy and powerful cellular activity that nourishes our entire physical and mental body. Happiness indeed heals, and happiness can lead us to optimal health and vitality. If you wait to be happy, that means you're either in a state of neutral or there's a negative emotion there. Neutral isn't increasing vitality, and well, other emotions are just zapping us. So just be happy. Right now, you don't need any reason to be happy. If you want to find and know, understand a technique or gain the knowledge of a very easy technique to help build your happiness at any moment, anywhere, and anytime, is a simple breath technique. Simply by closing your eyes, inhaling and exhaling, slow down your breathing. Once the breath is slow, smooth, and long, inhale and feel that you are breathing in energy and vitality. The prana that's being carried in through your breath is giving you energy and vitality. And as you exhale, feel this energy move through every part of you. As you do this for 4 to 5 minutes, your breathing will slow down even more. Your mind will become quiet and calm and clear. At that time, try to experience the emotion of joy with every breath. Inhale, breathe in joy and happiness. Exhale, feel that joy spread through your whole body. And as you become more advanced, try to breathe into your abdomen. Breathe in the lowest part of your lungs. Again, feel that joy coming into your body. Exhale, feel that joy move through every part of your body. And since all of you are practicing pranayama, I will leave that with you so I can get to one last part of my presentation. So I wanted to give you some Ayurvedic herb to help boost your immunity and vitality. So what I'm going to present is an Ayurveda superfood. It's a fruit from our Indian subcontinent. It is the richest source of vitamin C available in natural form. It has 20 times more vitamin C than an orange. It's an excellent choice for strengthening a weak immune system, especially if you're suffering from virus or allergies, or children who have weakened immune systems. It has incredible protection against viruses and infections. It contains a host of minerals and vitamins like calcium and iron, vitamin C, much, much more. It's extremely rich in its antioxidant powers. It supports digestion, metabolism, elimination, and liver function. It is 100% natural and safe, even in high amounts. Can anybody guess what that superfood is? Other than you, Om. Anybody else? Can you guess? It is Amla. Amlaki, commonly known as Indian gooseberry, is the term used for the use of this fruit from the Amla tree. It is considered the mother, as it performs the job of taking total care of the mind-body system. And it's also known as the ultimate healer due to its immune restorative properties. In the Charaka Samhita, one of the texts of Ayurvedic science, Charaka states, of all the rasayanas, Amalaki is revered as one of the most potent and nourishing. Amalaki is the best among rejuvenative herbs. Rasayanas in Ayurveda are rejuvenating therapies which support anti-aging and longevity. And our ancient texts 4,000 years ago knew the benefits of this divine fruit. Improves vision, skin, prevents aging, increases your immunity, it's good for your hair health, prevents constipation and other digestive disorders, improves nervous system health, memory, brain health. It protects and cures diabetes, improves cardiovascular health. It prevents anemia because of its iron content. Look at this, how Amla compares to other fruits. ORAC stands for Oxygen Radical Absorbance Capacity. It's a lab test that attempts to quantify the total antioxidant capacity of a food by placing a sample of the food in a test tube along with certain molecules that generate free radical activity and certain other molecules that are vulnerable to oxidation. So just see how it compares with acai fruit, known in our modern times to be a very powerful antioxidant. The therapeutic uses of amla powder, well, all kinds of hair problems, for example, hair loss, thinning hair, premature gray, dry scalp, dandruff, various skin issues. So if there's eczema, psoriasis, hives, amla can help. It's an efficient blood purifier because most of skin diseases are a result of ama in the blood. Enhances immunity. It helps to also maintain healthy cholesterol levels. If you're finding your eyesight is getting weakened by constant staring at the screens, you definitely need amla. It's a natural anti-aging supplement, and it helps also to improve metabolism by also removing extra body fat with its consistent use. So how much amla to take? I recommend 1 teaspoon daily. You can mix it in a small amount of water and consume it that way. You can also combine it with a little bit of honey. You can roll it into small balls and take it that way, especially if you're giving amla to kids. Kind of hard for them to take it, but it is very good for children, especially if they have allergies or asthma, or we're going into fall and winter change of seasons and they have respiratory conditions. Make little balls of amla and honey and just give it to them 1 a day. So for children, they can take the half dose, half a teaspoon. Also for children with eye weakness, many of them are developing the need to wear glasses, and start giving them this amla. Half dose for children and 1 teaspoon for adults. But for this to work and have optimum results, you need to take it on a daily basis. So that concludes my presentation. I wanted to leave some time for question and answer. I wanted to thank you all for watching, to bless you all with lots of health and happiness. As Sriji mentioned, my Ayurvedic center is in Rockville near the town center. Omji works closely with me and him, along with our other practitioner. The three of us, we see patients on a daily basis. We also have a Panchakarma center. So we do all the ancient Ayurvedic techniques using medicated oils. And we use a very authentic and classical form of Ayurveda. We are not integrated or functional medicine. We try to practice pure and authentic Ayurveda. I would like to welcome you all to come to our center. I'm happy to have a special day, open house day, for all of you to come one evening, and I can have all our practitioners there. We have 2 Panchakarma specialists. We have also 2 counselors on our staff that talk with both youth and adults and couples as well, that are going through various issues in life. And sometimes it's difficult to take yourself or maybe your child to a Western practitioner, whereas an Indian person can relate to the culture and the values that we have. We have somebody on our staff who practices pranic healing for people with past trauma or inner blocks in their energy centers and they're not able to heal. We practice hypnotherapy. We have yoga therapists on our staff. They do one-on-one yoga. They will also come to your home, especially if you're recovering from surgery, you're in fragile condition, or you're unable to travel. One of them will come to your home for teaching you the asanas that are right for your conditions. We have a number of yoga, pranayama, and meditation classes that we hold here in Rockville and Potomac. And it is all nonprofit, both Om and I. We take no salary, we take no compensation for many, many years. It is just our duty that we feel we have been called upon to do for the needs of our community. Our website is vedichealth.org. A lot of information there. And I've also left my contact information here. So with that, I will take any questions.
Thank you very much, Amita. This was a very clear and easy to follow advice, and it was very clear message. So wonderful. Thank you very much. And let me check. I'm going to just have allow everyone to unmute themselves. But before you unmute, let me just go over the questions that are in the chat box and go through those questions first. And then if there is more time left, we can have more questions. Okay. And so one question that Rohini has is 60 nanograms, greater than 60 nanograms of vitamin D is really high. Will the primary care prescribe such supplements? So Amita, can you unmute yourself? Sorry. Let me see if...
Right, okay. Greater than 60 nanograms. So that is actually the lab value. The lab value for vitamin D should be in the range of 50 to 60 or more. The dosage to prescribe for vitamin D, generally physicians are prescribing 50,000 IU once a week. You can also take 5,000 for maintenance, or 10,000 IU is the daily dose.
So, this is Rohini. Quickly, can I just clarify? My vitamin D was found low after I requested to test it. They never did it before. And they brought it to 30 now, just 30, by giving 2,000 IU soft gel per day. And I mean, then he is happy. The doctor won't do anything else. So can I just take it on my own, your 10,000 or? and then bring it up myself. Then they will find out next time.
Yes, yes. So that's right. I mean, because the lab value says 30, the doctors won't prescribe any more than that. So you can take 5,000 IU if you want, and try to bring your levels up slowly, a little bit higher.
Okay, thank you.
So the next question by Sandhya is, what's your advice about sugar substitutes such as jaggery or coconut sugar,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
stevia powder?
Yeah, good question. So if you are not in the range of diabetes or pre-diabetes, then yes, you can take jaggery, pure jaggery. You can take pure coconut sugar. You can take stevia. You can take monk fruit sweetener. You can take honey, because honey in Ayurveda is considered amrit, like nectar. It is full of enzymes. But that is it, so long as your sugar levels are within normal range. So yes, now brown sugar is not the same thing. Okay, brown sugar is just white sugar with food coloring in it. But pure coconut sugar is a good substitute.
Dr. Jain, I have
Yoga
a
knows.
this is Jyoti. There's a question about the sugar.
Jyoti, can we just go through these chat
Okay.
box questions, and then I will next. You will be the next one. Okay. Thank you, Jyoti.
No, you're welcome.
So there are some questions about amla, about in what form we can consume. Is the frozen amla okay, and so on.
So amla comes in forms of frozen and also liquids, but in traditional Ayurveda, they say to take the dried powder, the powder form of the amla fruit. So you can get that powder. There's a couple of companies that make the organic amla powder. You can go to our website, and I have links of few different companies that we trust, and you can order it from there. You can also, when you come to our clinic, we carry amla powder, which is organic and pure, so you can pick up there as well, or we can ship it to you.
Okay. One question is about, is Metamucil every day okay? By Srikant Kulkarni.
Yeah, so I'm going to give the perspective of Ayurveda only. I don't want to talk against your physician's prescriptions, but it is not safe to take Metamucil every day, because your digestive system is now becoming dependent on this, and it does have damaging effects to your natural peristalsis. Okay, what Ayurveda aims to do is to build up your Agni strength and to strengthen digestion, so that you don't need to rely on anything at all, including an herb, for regular bowel movements. So we find that it is not safe to take it every day, although a number of people are.
So another question by Sandhya is about Panchakarma. Is there a schedule if she wants to go there, just contact you, or just on the website you have information about schedule it?
Yeah, so if you are interested in getting for general health and for maintenance or preventative health, you can go right on the website and you can just book the type of Panchakarma you want and the date. We are not doing any inpatient type of treatments. It's just Abhyanga, Shirodhara, Shirolepam for hair loss, and lymph drainage techniques. We also do Vasti for Kati Vasti, Janu Vasti, Griva Vasti. These are for pain areas. So pain or inflammation in the knees, in the lower back, in the neck. We have treatments for all of those. You can go online and book the day and time. If you suffer from a chronic condition, then I advise that you get an appointment with either Om or myself, because we will tell you which treatment to take and what medicated oil would be effective.
Thank you. The other question is about whole milk. Is whole A2 milk okay?
So it all depends on your dosha type, what is your dosha prakriti, your natural constitution, your dosha vikriti, your disease state, what health conditions you may be having, in order to say whether it's healthy. Now, in general, yes, A2 milk in general is better, but there are even milks of better quality than A2 milk. So I would suggest you seek a delivery of pure, non-homogenized whole milk from a local farm. In Maryland, there is a couple of places that deliver this kind of milk. One is called South Mountain Creamery, and they also bring to some of the health food stores. We get our dairy from there. And but whether dairy in general is good is something we would look at and determine.
One question by sorry.
Can you repeat your website?
I will send that information, Chandrakant.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And Dilip Thatte's question is, he takes vitamin D supplement. He has like a 50,000 IU capsule from India. Is that too high?
Taken once a week, it's fine. Make sure it's in the form of D3. It's better also if you get D3 with K2. So it's fine to take. I would advise when you're reordering your vitamin D, you can get one vitamin D3 with K2 and in liquid drops, because the liquid drops contain some fat in them. It's easier to absorb.
Next question is, what's the best place to get Amla powder?
There is a couple of companies that we use. One is called Banyan Botanicals. There's a link on our website, vedichealth.org. And that's where we also pack our own Amla powder to make it more affordable, and because I know the source of the powders. So either way, you can take a look at our website or give us a call.
Ramesh has a question. Any suggestion for treatment for chronic eye problems?
Thank you, Ramesh. Chronic eye problems, yes. There are some herbs that have a special affinity for effectiveness in improving the vision. And we also do an oil treatment, an ancient practice called tarpana, where we pour the oil, medicated oil, in the eyes. And if you take that once, you can learn how to do a very simple eye wash at home. And then you can continue to do that by yourself, which is very, very effective for certain eye diseases, especially for improving the vision and preventing loss.
So Ramesh is he's in Canada. Is there a way to contact you and get some advice from you?
Yes, we can do it that way too. You can consult with us, set up a consultation, and then we'll guide you.
Okay, thank you. And there's one question that Sandhya has about Chyawanprash. Is it a good option for consuming Amla powder in its raw form?
So the question is Chyawanprash good as a substitute for Amla powder, or? Yeah. Chyawanprash is excellent. The only problem is the common Chyawanprash found nowadays, especially in our Indian stores, are terrible. They're better off you don't touch them, because they're full of sugar, full of refined sugar, like brand like Dabur, and even Patanjali's yoga. So you have to be careful of reading the ingredients, that it's an authentic formula of Chyawanprash. There's always a little bit of sugar used as a carrier to send the herbs, especially to the lungs, for protection, respiratory protection. But that should be like one of the last ingredients on the list. So again, the companies that we use, they have the authentic formula. You can order from them, or you can stop by our center and pick up from there. Definitely going into fall and winter, Chyawanprash is the best Ayurvedic multivitamin to take, and for children as well. The dose would be 1 teaspoon twice a day for children and 1 tablespoon once or twice a day for adults. If you tend to have more of a pitta constitution, then you can take it with some milk. Otherwise, you can take it with some water.
Thank you, Amita. Shrikant Kulkarni has a question that, do you accept insurance payments?
So we do not take any insurance. Some insurance companies may reimburse you for a wellness visit, but we are donation-based. So it is a pay as you like service.
Thank you, Amita. Hana has a question about thinning hair. Is there, what do you suggest for thinning hair?
So I would suggest, as long as the thinning hair is not a result from some hormonal change, which it can very well be. So one, we need to check what is the root cause of your thinning hair. But if you want for general knowledge, Amla oil is very good. You can get pure Amla oil. You can order it on Amazon. Again, this is the pure oil, not the Amla from Dabur at Indian store. Those are completely useless. But if you get 100% pure Amla oil and you mix that, dilute it with equal amounts of coconut oil, and then you can massage it into your scalp. Massage it into your scalp and do a 5 to 10 minute massage with your fingertips. Then leave it overnight if you can, or for 2 hours, and then do a mild shampoo with a proper shampoo, not to be using the cleansers that you get from our regular stores here. You need to go to a health food store and get an all natural shampoo, or better, use shikai powder and use that as a shampoo. And that will greatly help. Thinning hair also is a result of nutritional deficiencies. As I talked about in the beginning of this seminar, vitamin D, iron, and vitamin C, zinc. If any of those are low, they can also cause thinning hair. So you can come in, consult with us, and we can guide you.
There's another question. Do you have any suggestion for which brand of Amla oil to use?
I use one called SVA. It's on Amazon, SVA. But there's other ones, as long as you get a reputable, good quality one, and it says 100% pure, it should be fine.
Okay. So Jyoti, does that answer your question, or do you have some other question?
Yeah, I have another question. This was just a follow-up. Dr. Jain, I had a question regarding this coconut oil, which you said a lot of coconut oils come adulterated with wax and all that. So when we mix, most of the coconut oils lead to itching, and they say pure, but then they are, they are hydrogenated, and they also have some properties to whiten it and all that. So which is a pure brand of coconut oil?
Yes, you're right. Many of our health oils have become adulterated. So I would suggest going to the health food store, not even Whole Foods, but going to like Mom's or Roots or Sprouts, and getting an unrefined coconut oil from there. So even though it will have that strong coconut smell, it will most likely be the purest that we can get our hands on.
Now, when you say it comes like organic coconut oil and unrefined, cold pressed.
Correct.
So that's what it is. Okay, that was my one question. And regarding the sugars, the question which I had, when you recommended the jaggery and all, I fully agree with you, but a lot of jaggeries are now adulterated with chemicals, and I can make out as soon as I take, because I have a very sensitive body and skin, and I know that something is wrong. The color is fine, but they are not as pure. That is one thing. Brown sugar I knew was useless. And so if that being the case, so white sugar is unavoidable, but there is organic sugar, white sugar, which I'm using right now, which is so far okay. But then what do you recommend? Which type of jaggery should we go for?
Yeah, so jaggery, you have to kind of source the pure form. I don't know where to get pure jaggery here. Organic sugar is not helping at all. It's not any better. It's still a refined food. And so we need to turn to the products that are manufactured and made in the US that go through some sort of a testing. So the unrefined coconut sugar and our natural honey, natural grade A type maple syrup that is pure. We have to do a little bit of research on our parts to find good sources.
Yeah, I tried the coconut sugar, but I found by default that for 2-3 days I was getting a mild headache, and I never get a ticking headache. And then I pointed it towards the coconut sugar, and it was a very expensive sugar, and it said, it doesn't have a lot of contaminants and all that. So I think I may have to change the brand of the coconut sugar.
So one more question from is about, do you have any suggestions for any treatment for arthritis?
So arthritis, in Ayurveda, arthritis is an ama condition, that they call. Okay. Which means that it is a result of toxins in our body that have accumulated, that have left their site of origin, circulating in the blood, and lodges in a weak spot, which is in Ayurveda known as kavaya gunya. And this weak spot can be in our joints. It's also a vata condition. So arthritis can definitely be helped and managed, in some cases even reversed, with Ayurvedic medicine. And that is a holistic treatment. So we will look at your diet and prescribe a specific dosha balancing, vata reducing diet. We help to strengthen Jatar Agni, your digestive fire, so that you can properly digest and assimilate foods, so that they don't become ama or toxin in the body. We will give Ayurvedic herbs that help clear these toxins and purify the blood, and strengthen immunity, that Ojas factor also. And there will be yoga and pranayama to reduce the inflammation, and some other lifestyle changes. But I have found Ayurveda and this type of protocol to be extremely effective for arthritic patients.
Thank you, Amita. There's a general question by Hannah that where is the location of your center and so on. It's in Rockville Town Center. And Hannah, I will share that information when I send out the recording of this session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, Dr. Jain, I have a question regarding the bowel movement, and so many people are recommending that daily use of herde powder is good. What is your recommendation?
Haridra, like turmeric?
Hartik,
Haritaki?
Haritaki.
Haritaki is very good. We use it a lot. It's especially good for balancing vata dosha. So there's digestive issues like constipation, bloating, gas, etc. Haritaki is very good. It's safe to take it on a daily basis. Again, we also want to uncover that what is the root cause of that increased dryness, that increased vata that's causing the constipation to begin with. So if it's not relieved, within 2 to 3 months, you should get relief with Haritaki. And if not, then we need to look further into what's causing it.
So there is different kind of Haritaki. What is the best one? Means it is available in your clinic?
Yes, we have it in our clinic, and we also have links on our website to the companies that make Haritaki.
And what is the dose you take in the morning or evening? What are the?
You can take it in the morning before food. You can take it twice a day. Now the dosage depends on number of things, your age, your condition, Bala, your strength, and Ojas. So you can start with 500 mg, one tablet or capsule. If it's, you can start with that in the morning and evening before food, just before. And if that doesn't seem to have an effect, you can slowly and gradually increase the dose to 2 tablets 2 times.
So it is in tablet form. What is in the powder form also, right?
You can take it in powder form. So that powder would be, you want to start with very less, like 1/5 of a teaspoon is the starting dose. And then you would gradually increase it up to, you can go to about 1/3 of a teaspoon,
Okay.
1/4 to 1/3 of a teaspoon twice a day of the powder.
Thank you very much.
Rohini Shah, go ahead. Now, I know you've been waiting for a long time. Sorry about the delay. Just go ahead and ask your question. You need to unmute yourself first. You need to unmute yourself. You are muted, so I can't. Nobody can hear you.
I'm on your side, but I couldn't find the link for
Okay.
Amla powder or
So
anything else.
go to where it says order, and then supplements.
Okay.
And then you may see a link there to Banyan Botanical.
Oh, Banyan. Okay.
Yeah. And then once you go to that link, you can type in the search Amla or Amalaki.
Do I have to, I think I have to log on, right? Log in there. I think.
Yeah.
I have to log in.
It shouldn't say login.
That's what I thought I will check it again, but
Okay.
it said log in.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one question, Dr. Jain. Which coconut oil do you recommend? Which brand of coconut oil?
So I usually get mine from Moms, and I think it is Garden of Life.
Okay. Thank you very much. It was an excellent presentation,
Thank
easy
you.
to absorb by our minds, So thanks for your time and thanks for coming. I hope you
Thank
visit
you.
us again.
And we'll have one kind of open house type of session sometime that's convenient for you. And I'll talk to you, Amita, and then I will. There are quite a few people local here, and they'll be very much interested in seeing the facility. And I really want to thank you very much for this excellent presentation. And I'm sure we'll continue to talk to you on more often and get some. All people here can benefit from it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed talking to all of you, and I hope to meet you also soon sometime. If you try to get a consultation on my website, it will say in there that I'm not seeing any new patients until 2022. But just call my office, tell them you attended this seminar, and give your name there. And Om Jomji is there. He'll definitely see you, and I will also make the time and space in my schedule to see all of you. So thank you. Thank you so much. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you.